It's really a pleasure to have Mahmoud Chouki with us today. For those of you that haven't got to meet him yet, he's a multi-string player from Morocco, and there's a couple things I would like to say before he gets started. I just want to tell this story because I think there's a lot of little lessons inside the story. Okay. And so the story is that I was kind of at the last minute accidentally asked to be a band leader at a gig, and so I ended up like leading the band at the gig, and even though it was like a bar gig, I like decided to like actually like try to play as much of a concert as I possibly could. So Mahmoud and his partner, who's also a brilliant artist, were visiting New Orleans, and they happened to come into this club, and it was maybe the first day that they were in town, or the second day or something like that. And you know, even though it was the type of situation that you would think that you would never actually be able to connect with anyone because it was just a noisy kind of bar thing, whatever, you know, there was some connection made. So that was lesson number one, is like, you know, when you're out doing a gig, like, do the gig, you know, like play as much music as you can, and then on the break, instead of like going outside and catching a cigarette or running down the street to Snug Harbor or whatever, I decided to actually talk to the people in the club that happened to be listening to the music. So then I ended up talking to him, and you know, and it was interesting, and they were very nice, and he said that he was going to go get a CD for me, that he was a musician, but you know, he had a business card, and he gave me his business card. So for those of you that don't think that business cards are useful anymore, they actually still are kind of useful. And so, and then he split, and then by the time he came back with the CD, the gig was done. So that was it. We never saw each other again. Okay, so I like kind of looked at the business card the next day, and I just from looking at the business card, I was like, I bet this guy actually has some shit going on. Oops, am I allowed to say that on the video?
Yeah.
No. And so, so I looked him up on the internet. So, and conveniently, he had some stuff on the internet. There was like one video on YouTube that obviously was like a prepared video. So there you go. And so I saw this thing, and after about, you know, 10 seconds, I was like, okay, this cat really can play. And so I literally picked up the phone, and no, I sent him an email or something, whatever. I just reached out right away, and I said, hey, do you want to come to dinner? So, and then he like said, yeah, sure, I'll come to dinner. So, I mean, all this is really simple stuff, but it's like, if like in your life, if you have these opportunities to like get your music out there, and to get your person out there, and you don't do them, you know, it's like, I feel like you know, there's always, everyone talks about luck all the time, but my whole perspective on all this thing is like, luck is, it's like you make your own luck. That would be like one way to look at it. Or, you know, if like you, or if you have like some spiritual thing, you could feel like that some outward power has a hand in your life. But if you're not open to those magical things happening, then they don't happen. And also, if you don't participate in making those magical things happen, then they don't happen. So this is a really long story, but I think that it's like, it's probably as important as another mode to play, honestly. If you're like going out there like to deal with like the world of music and life. And so anyhow, basically the dinner was nice, and now we've been friends. And so, you know, he was coming to New Orleans, he came back to the States and visited, and then he came back to the States again, so now he's in the States, and I was a little bit like, why don't you come hang out or whatever. And so this is what all came about. So, but to me, it's been amazing to get to meet a musician that has a whole like package of stuff that I like not only don't have together, but never even thought of to deal with, honestly, you know what I mean? And then he's just a beautiful cat, so that's like, it's a blessing to have him around, and it's like been an inspiration for me musically, okay? But so his musical background, to just save him from having to tell you all that, is he started playing classical guitar when he was very young. It was sort of like a lark, honestly, in the culture that he was from and his family. Like the idea of him becoming a musician was really an unusual thing. And they sort of fought it or whatever, but as it turned out, he was very good at playing classical guitar. and he was with a classical guitar ensemble that traveled around in Spain, and he won a very prestigious classical guitar award when he was a young cat, younger than pretty much everyone in this room. And then he decided after that he was very, very much interested in other music beyond the classical guitar world, even though he probably could have just stopped right then and just been like a hotshot classical guitar guy. And so he went around Morocco, and Morocco has a lot of indigenous cultures, and there's a lot of, it's like, if you know where Morocco is, it's kind of like at a crossroads of a lot of different kinds of cultures, and so there's a lot of indigenous pockets of like very unique music in Morocco. So he traveled around Morocco. Am I doing this all okay so
yes,
far? Okay. And so he like learned how to play like a lot of indigenous Moroccan music, but in his first mission was not to like learn how to play an indigenous instruments. He actually was trying to translate those sounds onto the guitar. And so he did all that, but then he decided that he would also like play some indigenous instruments. So when you're hearing what he does, what you're hearing like the intersection of classical guitar and flamenco guitar and all different kinds of Moroccan indigenous music and Northern Africa and Arabic music and music from Western Asia and all these kinds of things that he has going on. So it's like a really beautiful mix, and it's a fusion, and it's very organic. That's the thing that's beautiful about it. It's like he didn't go out of his way to like invent something new. He just like experienced life, and he took in as much information as he can with as much passion as he could, and he kind of synthesized his own thing. So he's coming from a very unique place. So anyhow, so without me talking anymore, Mr. Mahmoud Chouki.
Oh, thank you for this introductions. I'm sorry for my English. It's not very good to explain myself, but I'll try to figure out. So first of all, like Brian said, it's very important for the musician or for the artist, first of all, to travel. It's the first thing. And second, hear more music. He can hear and accept all music and all rhythm. It's not like I don't like this music. Every music, everything have this magic and have thing we can learn about. So all my thing, and I'm so lucky. But like Brian said, you create your road, you create yourself, and I start just traveling and playing in bar, meeting people, and I did beautiful trip in my life, like here in New Orleans when I meet Brian. I was in Indonesia and played a beautiful concert with a guy. I met him in Morocco, and we played in Qatar in 2011. I was in India and played with musicians. I play with them. But it's all these connections you make. It's just when you accept to play with the other, to accept to have an extra relation. It's not also about music. It's about heart, about what do you give to the other, and the music. It's not important. It's the human relationship. So, and for this last 8 years, I work about this human relationship with artists, and now I'm an artistic director of a residency in Switzerland, and every year I have this chance to invite musicians around the world to not just play music, but talk about music and find a way to not just fusion, but mixing and fusing our cultures, because now in with the world now it's not a good thing happen around. So I think with the art and with the music, it's very important to communicate, and this other thing. Well, I stop talking a little bit. I will present for you this instrument. This instrument named lutar. Lutar, it's when you translate literally, lutar al-watar, it's named string. Lutar is an instrument. So we have a lot of instruments, traditional instruments. We name it lutar because it's just lutar, an instrument with strings. So we have a lot of kind of lutar. We have a little one. So every region of Morocco have this specific instrument lutar. This one is from a middle Atlas. It's the center of Morocco, and the name of people still the play. It's named Zayan. It's based in a maqam. Maqam, it's like a scale, oriental scale. It's Saba. Okay, you can hear the quarter of tone. It's very sad. After we can go to this particularity. It's fretless, so you can switch from the lot of models. So you can start with Bayati. To the Hijaz. The Hijaz is a mod from the Orient, Middle Orient, and we don't have the quarter of tone. It's so. And this instrument, it's one piece of wood. And this piece of wood we hold out, and we put a goat skin. Okay, fix it with goat skin. After we put this tube. So if you want to touch it, who want? Yes, yeah. Really, it's.
What do you have in your right hand?
Ah, okay.
Goat.
This it's plecter, but it's like a hood, and they use it like that, not like a guitar. It was the technique of oud of like this instrument. We have a lot of what's named this technique?
Tremolo.
Tremolo, that's tremolo.
So is this a tube or is it solid?
Yes, it's solid.
Solid.
Yes, you can touch it. Touch this instrument. It's this. I like this instrument. It's the ancestor of all strings instruments. Because all the string instruments, before they put they make it on wood, a table harmonique. It was all these instruments was with animal skin and strings with the trip bit and the yes. So now we and also the keys. The keys, it's not like that. That's because I play concert and I have to. I need to the tunes stay the same. So normally it's with wood and you turn it. It's big keys with wood, but it's very hard to. In traditional music, they don't care about tuning. It's just feeling and singing and it's. I had an experience, beautiful experience with I played this instrument with the Symphonic Orchestra of Qatar in Bahrain, the beautiful projects in the Magic Lute, to show the evolution from this daoud, from a strings instrument from this traditional way and until the sarod. It's very sophisticated instrument from India, and I played with really traditional one, and I had very big problem on the concerts because it was in Qatar. It's very humid, and I all the concert trying to tune in. It was a horrible thing. So I had this idea when I came back to change and change the thing. I didn't change anything about the instruments. It's just to be functional. So
What is it tuned to?
okay, the tunes you have two kind of tunes. You have this. You can do G D G D. So you can play the melody because excuse me one moment. It's not a lead instrument also. It's accompaniment instrument.
What type of strings are you using? Those classical strings?
Yes. I can turn it an A. Because when they sing, it's always about women and man. So you can start. It's kind of a dialogue. Also in Arabic violin, the musician from Oriental musician, they play violin. They always tune it. It's G D. You have always this two way to play, and bass and medium and bass. So another question?
Did you make it yourself?
No, but I know the guy who did it, so I give him instruction.
So you accompany singers usually? That's the who is the lead? You play that?
Yes.
Singers.
Yes. It's got Oriental music, or just it's not about a harmony. It's it's not melody there. So that's another work when to create my instrument in the traditional one. That's like you can. It's the core of time. can modernize a little bit this style, and you have another style of music. It's interesting, like Gnawa. Maybe you hear about Gnawa music. Gnawa music. It came from sub-Saharan Africa. So and it, when it arrived in Morocco, it take another form. And this instrument they play, it's named heshhouj or genbri. It's with 3 strings and all basses. So if it's like the grandfather of bass from Africa, and this instrument came with the slaves to the America. So and they understand. We play all most thing we play with this instrument. It's pentatonic, like a lot of traditional style. Technique to it's like slapping. The rhythm is that's right. Accent. And they play it like a castagnette, but in metal, big one. It's like and they have this style. Sudani manayo shashiyati babara. Sudani manayo shashiyati babara. Sudani manayo shashiyati babara. Allah Rabbi sidiye, Allah Rabbi mulay, Allah Rabbi sidiye, Allah Rabbi mulay, mulay. Sudani manayo shashiyati babara. 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 It's mixing between an Arabic and the Mambara. Mambara, it's a Malian language, and it's turned about a lot of music from sub-Saharan or Uzbekistan. They start mixing when the religion, when Islam came to arrive to North Africa, because North Africa it's Amazigh and Berber. And they start fusion all this sing about God and spiritual thing. So it's very spiritual music about love of God and this and also this African travel also. So it's very emotional music.
I had a question. I would say I don't know much about music from the Orient or the Middle East or the East or anyway, but I do know that there's a lot of like sidestepping, a lot of slurring, a lot of semitones, notes in between notes.
Yes.
So I was wondering what are like some of the difficulties of applying that to say like a instrument like a guitar where it's fixed frets and you don't really have space for semitones? Is there still ways that can be applied to an instrument like a guitar?
This Oriental.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, so it's lot of this maqam. They don't have semitone or chord or something like this one. Chord of tone.
Yeah.
So you have like when we play Arabic spirit, it's a Hijaz. Donc c'est flat, we go to another one to do Hijaz Kar. Hijaz Kar, it's the same. You have the Nahawand. Nahawand, it's like a minor harmonic. It's and you can. So in technique, but this it's because I work a lot oud and a lot of instruments from the Orient. So I developed this technique in guitar too. You can find it in the Saz of Baglama Turk. Can travel with this.
Yeah.
So you have just to adapt yourself to it's like I had with Jorge Cardoso from Argentina, and we had this problem with classical way to play like that. But and he told me just play music. It's this and I understand after it's guitar or everything. It's just instruments. It's wood with strings. So music, it's you, and you can develop yourself, and you can do everything you want with your instruments. And it's very interesting when you see guitar played in Algeria, like for example, Algeria. It's in the play this Algerian style. It's every part in the world they use the instrument like they want it. You have just to accept to hear it and to play it. And it was I want to play with you one thing. It's from the Nahawand. It's very very old music from Andalusia. And it's named لما بدا يتسنى. Okay, I have some shots if you want to play some. some different music. So who plays trumpet?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh, you play drum? Yes. It's an eighth. Leo?
Yes. Oh. So then I will.
That's other pianist?
She plays piano.
Yes, come.
Come on, Debbie.
Okay, it's named لما بديت السنة. It's an 10/8. 10/8. This rhythm we call it سماعي ثقيل. And we count it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and it's always when we write it's about dum and tick. Dum it's temps fort, the temps fort. Dum like the one. What's the and tick the Doom and tap. Doom is the tom tom.
The downbeat.
The downbeat.
Yes, exactly. So it's doom tap. So it's doom tap. Doom doom tap. Doom tap. Doom doom tap. Doom.
Does that start?
The two, the one, that's the top.
What are these eight notes?
Why are you complicated?
I was just wondering, because if I was to think about how to read it.
I played. Okay. This name is very to play slow. It's سماعي ثقيل. It's سماعي slow. It's very slow. Okay. Okay. Ready?
Oh.
Oh yeah, guitar also can play the melody. Can just to try to play this in this small drum. Okay, we try again?
Yeah.
The others sing maybe. Okay? Just you have to feel it, really. Okay. Slowly. So this is maqam.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That's a question. Is that related to a dance of some kind that?
Yes.
I asked him the same question this morning.
Like vaulting music.
No, yeah, I asked him exactly the same question.
It's not like we have this in African or Balkanian music, kind of 7, 8 or 10.
Yeah.
Yes, this for dancing. No, for this it's not a dance. It's remus sama'i taqil. It's for chilling.
Okay.
It's for and something it's lot of music. This ancient music, it's not about rhythm. It's just melody, and they put rhythm after. It's very important. You hear the melody. It's very present.
Yeah.
Yes.
But does this particular rhythmic scheme have a name?
This one,
Yeah.
Sama'i Taqil. S-M-A-A, Sama'i, A-A-E, Taqil. Taqil.
That's Arabic?
Taqil, yes.
That word.
Yes, Sama'i, Sama'i means Sama'. Sama'i, it's the ears, the hearing. Taqil, it's very slow.
Okay.
Yes.
How does the work? How does the calculator work? Like the calculator?
They play with, not with drum, this would play with derbuka. You know this derbuka, this instrument. But it's, yes.
Just like that.
It makes a really deep sound, you go boom.
Yes.
Is that on the beginning of the Arrows track that you sent us? There's an instrument, this is like, there's a groove that goes like boom.
But it's not Sama'i. But it's in this kind of. It's very important. This one. So we want the way it's you improvise in this nahawan. Okay.
Do you the whole time, or do you play first? Because
I don't see the chord.
no, but, I get this, but okay. At one point, you kind of play super weird notes. Not weird, super hip, but like you play something really major. Or
Major, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And sometime I switch, yes, in major.
Okay.
But don't do it.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet, just something. This one,
Yeah.
just
But why, how do you, what's the,
I don't understand. Don't understand. Just it's a feeling.
okay,
It's
okay.
it's.
It's not like a chord scale.
Yes.
No, okay, I get that.
Right.
This is why this just think melody.
Yeah.
It's very important also because a lot of musicians with studies and things that start just focused in the harmony and the chord and just and they forget music, it's melody also, and they have to play and they enjoy melody. So I think it's good exercise to hear another music or another still. Good.
I want to try to make it sound like the turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very difficult to try.
It's just when I know a lot of trumpetists in Morocco, they play like that. But it's when you grow up and you hear it every day, and it's really a feeling when you hear a musician from Turkey or from India. They don't play time, they don't play note. Every note it's vibration. It's like a travel between. So also the Oriental music, it's like when you take away it's all about melody and improvisations and this it's good exercise this nahawand. It's the maqam nahawand. And we have Hijaz, also Hijaz. It's we play it like Arabic spirit. So it's another maqam. It's about hundreds of maqam in Oriental music, and it's very rich. And we can from one maqam go to another one. We need a year. But it's very important just to hear about and you feel what other music and what other melodies and what we can do with our Occidental instruments. So you can find a way to play. We can play other music. One question.
Yeah, so
Excuse me.
when you play those scales, is the tuning like fixed in them, or is it more about your expression and how you feel? Like, when you play these notes that are like strict, that are like equal tempo, like, when you hit these, are those like in the same place every time in relation to like
No, it's not.
your bass note?
Yes, you have the form, but inside you just it's expression. Because when
So the tuning on them is like straight. It's
Yes, you have the.
I guess the question he's asking is the in-between notes,
Yes.
are they specifically, is it a very specific in-between note?
No. No, it's-
And are they thought of as separate notes, or are they thought of as colors of the same note?
It's like this. This.
Yeah, like if you have like a slightly sharper B flat, is that thought of as a B flat with a certain color, or is it as actually a different note?
No, it's with different colors.
Okay.
So and every musician play it differently. But it's special because it's guitar. But when maybe we can do the same thing here with these instruments. And
In Mahmoud, what is the name for the modes again? Makrib?
maqam.
Makam. Makam is like a type of, that means mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you spell that for us, please?
It's aim, A, K, A-M.
Makam.
Yes.
Okay. And so, and then the mode
Was
was
Nahawan.
Nahawan. But
Nahawan.
is that always like, can you have a G Mahawan and a B flat?
Yes,
Mahawan?
exactly, yes.
Okay, okay.
And the other one is Hijaz? Hijaz?
Hijaz.
Hijaz.
Hijaz normally in D, but you can play it in E and but it's you can play all this mode in different tuning.
Okay.
This one.
How does this, like, with flamenco music, how does this fit into flamenco? Flamenco music kind of came out of this North African music?
Yes, but because North African and Oriental music from the Orient, from the Middle East, was present in Andalusia
Yeah.
for a long time. So flamenco, it's a mixing with Oriental and also Gitan, Zigan music from too far from Asia. So it's
Some of the modes are the same, or some of the
yes,
scales are the same?
yes, it's the same.
The rhythm's different, though. The rhythm's-
But the rhythm you can find the buleria like this
Yeah.
one, but it's more.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you can find a lot of similitude between flamenco and Oriental music. This is Nahawan playing. And now I change to another mode. But it's you have some question?
I kind of wanted to ask you about your right hand, because yesterday you were kind of using a classical physical kind of technique, and you were doing like a slap thing earlier, and you were doing
This
you were holding your hands like a kick, but not really kick.
Yeah.
Without a kick. I don't, I guess my question is, how do you think about technique in general? Do you think about it? Do you feel like you want to do this in this situation?
Yes, because of technique, if you learn a lot of technique of instruments, you can play anything you want. So I think it's classical music. It was a good thing for me. I 10 years for classic guitar, so you have a good techniques. And after you play, when you play flamenco, it's really another technique. So you use more your. It's more your. Yes, more. And the butte, it's more butte, like you have pensée, and this is this when you don't have a pick, you not, so it's just you can it's about just also the sound you want to create with your instruments, and you can play, you can use any technique to find the atmosphere for music you want to play. So it's very important to play lot of music style, and I think for people like you play electric guitar, that you have to try to play more with fingers, and I think it's more rich music. It's like Brazilian one. You can. Have to play something. So it's very important to learn techniques and slap. Most of this technique I learned because I learned other instruments, so it's help to develop not just your hand, but yes, your mind. Other questions? Ask.
Anything else?
You didn't play. Where's your sax?
Upstairs.
Okay. You have the charts for this music?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
When you harmonize the melodies you do compose, do you think about the modes that are traditional to the keys or to the modes you playing on, or they come as you feel it?
Both. But it's very important to harmonize with the melody. You see, we play a lot of, in the jazz we play lots in this mi major, line de mi. But I think in the part we don't play melody, and when just for solo on this music, I want to go out to do something new, or but for the melody it's very important to yes to be really close to the this harmonizing in Oriental music. It's not a usual thing, because it's Oriental music. It's best about harmony, about melody. I'm so sorry. So when you start harmonizing, it's it's you have to take care about the melody and to be really the good chord in the good place. If not, it will be like a fusion with two different things. But it's very important to harmonize the good way. And see, if not, it will be just want to put in some jazz or some music in your music. It's not. I don't feel that.
Yeah, but a lot of the music, if you're listening to very traditional sources, it's almost always monophonic. It'll be a whole group and everyone's playing exactly. They don't. I mean the same exact.
Same
notes.
melody like a singer.
There's not harmony usually. So you don't really hear harmonized melodies so much. It's kind of in the traditional music. It'll be 10 or 15 people and all playing exactly.
With cello, violin, accordion, flute,
but all the
piano.
same.
Piano play with
melody.
two hands. This melody.
Yeah.
So yes. So this. We are this. I would a lot of my friends, other people of this generation of North African and Oriental musicians who want to create this harmony between Orient and Occident and find this bridge between our two cultures and creating a smart fusion. It's not because it's a very big word. This fusion. It's. I think you have to it's like cooking. You have to put the good spices to have a beautiful music and that's what it's like.
I think we should wrap it unless there's another question or you guys want to hear something else or you want to play the tune again or whatever.
What's the name of this?
لما بدا يتسنى. Okay.
We got that.
So you can find it. Spell that. Spell that. لما بدا يتثنى. So,
And where is it from?
from and it's a موشح. موشح, it's a form of music or an Oriental music. Yeah. موشح, it's like موشح. Or you can find it like that. And it's from south of Spain. It's very when Arab was there in the south of Spain. It's Andalus. It was the beautiful period in Arab and Islamic thing, and because they have all this beautiful fusion between Arab culture, European, and Persian also, because a lot of Persian came from with Arabs and African, North African. So beautiful music and poetry about nature and beautiful region. If you have like to go to Spain and south of Spain and go and visit Morocco. It's a beautiful country with a lot of kind of style. In the north, we have this Andalusian heritage. In the south, you can find African music. So it's beautiful mix. Question?
Okay, thank you very much.